You live in a gilded cage of your own making. You call it freedom. You call it success. You call it control. But look closer. Your hands tremble when your inbox overflows. Your breath hitches when someone dares to contradict you. Your mood collapses because a stranger on the internet failed to applaud your performance. This is not mastery. This is servitude dressed in the robes of achievement. We are told, incessantly hypnotically, that power lies in accumulation. More money, more followers, more influence, more certainty. Entire industries thrive on this lie. Productivity gurus sell you calendars like talismans against chaos. Self-help prophets peddle emotional hacks, as if the human soul were a malfunctioning app needing a quick update. And you, yes, you buy it. Not because you're foolish, but because you're afraid. Afraid of the silence that follows when the noise stops. Afraid of what you'll find when you finally turn your gaze inward and see not a sovereign mind, but a trembling animal reacting to shadows. This is the modern delusion, that by mastering the external world, you master yourself. But the truth is inverted, brutal, and inescapable. You cannot command the storm if you are still drowning in your own breath. Consider the paradox. Never before have humans wielded such technological dominion over nature, time, and communication. Yet never before have we been so psychologically fragile. Anxiety isn't an anomaly, it's the baseline. Depression isn't a personal failure. It's the logical conclusion of a civilization that confuses control with conquest. You've learned to automate your schedule, optimize your sleep, curate your image. But can you sit alone for 10 minutes without reaching for a distraction? Can you feel anger rise in your chest and not lash out or suppress it? Can you watch desire flare and not immediately chase its object like a dog after a thrown bone? If not, then all your so-called control is theater, a performance for an audience of one, yourself. Buddha called it tanha, thirst. Not the thirst for water, but the ceaseless, gnawing craving for reality to be other than it is. Hot? You want cold. Cold? You want warmth. Alone? You crave connection. Connected? You resent the intrusion. This is not desire, it is addiction. And like all addictions, it promises relief, but delivers only deeper bondage. Every time you believe, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, when they love me back, when my body looks right, you hand your sovereignty to a future that may never come, or worse, that comes and leaves you emptier than before. Because satisfaction is not found in the attainment of the object, but in the cessation of the craving itself. This is where the weak perish and the strong awaken. The weak seek to bend the world to their will. The strong bend their will to align with reality. One path leads to exhaustion, the other to unshakable power. Ask yourself, when chaos strikes, when your plan shatters, when betrayal cuts deep, when your body betrays you, do you crumble? Or do you stand, not because the storm is past, but because you have become the mountain? Most do not even realize they are at war. They mistake emotional reactivity for authenticity. They call impulsivity being real. They wear their volatility like a badge of honor, never grasping that true strength is not in the explosion, but in the silence before it, the space where choice is born. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness that observes them. And until you learn to occupy that space, not as a passive victim, but as a sovereign commander, you will remain a puppet dancing on strings you cannot see. The world rewards those who appear in control, but only the rare few are in control. The rest? They are hostages to their own unchecked impulses. mistaking the illusion of agency for the real thing. This is not spirituality. This is strategy. The highest form of warfare is not waged on battlefields or boardrooms. It is fought in the silent chambers of the mind. And the victor is not the one who silences the storm, but the one who learns to sail in it without capsizing. You were never meant to control life. You were meant to master your response to it. And that mastery begins with a single, ruthless act. Stop outsourcing your peace. No app, no guru, no relationship, no bank account will grant you what only self-possession can provide. The moment you realize this, the cage door swings open. But you must walk through it yourself. No one can do it for you. So ask again, are you the master or the slave? Not in your dreams, not in your aspirations. Now, in this breath, in this choice, the answer will determine everything. The illusion of control is the last refuge of the uninitiated. You've been taught that stability comes from structure, from 5-year plans, from bulletproof routines, from the meticulous curation of your external reality. But life laughs at your spreadsheets. It mocks your vision boards. It shatters your timelines with a single phone call, a single diagnosis, a single act of human betrayal. And when it does, you fracture, not because the world failed you, but because you built your fortress on sand. The belief that peace depends on circumstances remaining favorable. This is the fatal error of the modern mind. It assumes that if only the world behaves, you will be safe. But the world was never meant to behave. Chaos is not an anomaly. It is the default condition of existence. The wise do not seek to eliminate chaos. They learn to move within it like a blade through water. Consider the man who organizes every minute of his day. He believes this grants him power. But what happens when his train is delayed? When his client cancels? When his child falls ill? His entire sense of self unravels because his identity was tethered not to inner strength, but to the fragile scaffolding of predictability. He did not build resilience. He built dependency disguised as discipline. True discipline is not rigid control. It is fluid adaptability. It is the ability to pivot without panic, to recalibrate without collapse. This is the paradox. The more you cling to control, the more you are controlled by what you cannot control. Buddha saw this 2,500 years ago. He did not teach withdrawal from the world. He taught non-attachment to outcomes, not indifference, but freedom from the tyranny of expectation. The river does not rage against the rocks, it flows around them. The tree does not curse the storm, it bends until the wind passes. This is not passivity, it is supreme tactical intelligence. And yet you resist. You say, but I must plan, I must strive, I must shape my destiny. Of course you must. But there is a difference between acting from clarity and acting from desperation. One is power. The other is panic masquerading as purpose. The desperate man clutches his goals like lifelines, terrified that without them, he is nothing. The sovereign man holds his goals lightly, not because he doesn't care, but because his worth is not contingent on their fulfillment. He acts fully, commits fiercely, and releases completely. This is the secret of unbreakable composure. You think strength is in the grip. It is not. Strength is in the release. Watch how the weak react to loss. They bargain. They blame. They spiral into narratives of victimhood, constructing elaborate myths in which they are the wronged hero. They demand that reality apologize for being real. The strong do not waste breath on such fictions. They acknowledge the pain, yes, but they do not let it dictate their next move. They know that suffering is inevitable. Suffering twice, once from the event, and again from the resistance to it, is optional. This is where most fail. They confuse acceptance with surrender. But acceptance is not resignation. It is the first act of true agency. Only when you stop fighting reality can you begin to work with it. Only when you stop demanding that life be fair can you start using it as raw material for your evolution. You've been sold a lie, that happiness is the absence of pain. But the most formidable minds in history, from Marcus Aurelius to Nietzsche, knew better. Power is forged in the friction between desire and reality. The man who cannot endure discomfort is a child playing at adulthood. The man who masters his inner state amid chaos is a king, even if he owns nothing. And here lies the ultimate test. Can you remain centered when everything around you is collapsing? Can you speak calmly when insulted? Can you act decisively when afraid? Can you hold your ground without hatred? If not, then your so-called success is a house of mirrors, impressive from the outside, hollow within. Society rewards the polished surface, but history remembers those who could not be broken from within. You do not need more tools. You need fewer illusions. Stop trying to control people. You cannot. Stop trying to control time. You will fail. Stop trying to control outcomes. You are not God, but you can control this, your attention, your breath, your interpretation, your next action. That is the battlefield, not out there, in here. And until you wage war on your own reactivity, your cravings, your need for validation, you will remain a leaf in the wind, calling your drifting freedom. The sovereign mind does not seek to dominate the world. It seeks to dominate nothing, least of all itself through force. Instead, it observes. It understands. It chooses. This is not mysticism. It is mastery. And it begins the moment you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this revealing in me? That shift from victim to witness is the birth of true power. You stand at the threshold. Behind you, the seductive comfort of blame, the narcotic of distraction, the endless cycle of craving and collapse. Ahead of you, the austere path of self-sovereignty, unpromising, uncelebrated, and utterly unshakable. Choose, not with your lips, not with your likes or subscriptions, with your life. Because here is the final truth, stripped of all spiritual veneer and psychological fluff. If you do not govern your mind, something else will. Your past will govern it. Your wounds will govern it. The opinions of strangers will govern it. The algorithms that feed your rage will govern it. Your unexamined desires will govern it, dragging you through life like a dog on a leash you pretend you hold. This is not philosophy. This is anatomy. The mind untrained is a weapon turned against its owner. Look at the so-called successful man who crumbles at the first sign of criticism. The influencer whose self-worth evaporates when the likes stop coming. The executive who rules a corporation but cannot sit with his own silence. These are not victors. They are hostages, glamorous, well-dressed, but chained nonetheless. Buddhist Tanha is not ancient history. It is your daily operating system. It is the voice that whispers, just one more scroll, just one more purchase, just one more validation, just one more achievement, and then I'll be enough. But the then never comes. Because the hunger is not for the object. It is for the illusion of wholeness the object promises. And that illusion is a mirage designed to keep you running in circles. The only way out is not forward, but inward. Not more doing, but deeper seeing. You do not need to eliminate desire. You need to stop being its puppet. You do not need to eradicate fear. You need to stop letting it veto your actions. You do not need to banish anger. You need to stop mistaking it for truth. This is the work of the untouchable man, the one who cannot be destabilized by praise or insult, gain or loss, chaos or calm. Not because he feels nothing, but because he feels everything and remains unmoved at his core. He is not cold. He is clear. And clarity is the highest form of power. Society will call him detached. What they mean is, he cannot be manipulated. They will call him aloof. What they mean is, he does not need their approval. They will call him ruthless. What they mean is, he has chosen himself over their expectations. Let them talk. Their words are wind against stone. Your freedom is not found in the absence of pain, but in the refusal to let pain dictate your identity. It is not found in perfect control, but in perfect presence, standing fully in the fire without burning. This is the paradox Nietzsche understood. You must become who you are, not who you were told to be, not who your trauma shaped you to be, not who your desires scream for you to be, but who you are when all the noise falls away. That self is not loud. It does not perform. It does not beg. It simply is. And in that being, it commands reality not by force, but by alignment. So ask yourself now, with brutal honesty, when your world shakes, when your partner leaves, when your business fails, when your body betrays you, do you collapse into reactivity, or do you rise into response? There is no middle ground, no neutrality. You are either training your mind, or your mind is training you. And if you continue to outsource your peace to people, to outcomes, to conditions, you will remain a beggar in a palace of your own making. But if you turn inward, not with judgment, but with ruthless curiosity, you will discover what the ancients knew. The only throne worth claiming is the one within. No one can give it to you. No one can take it from you. It is yours by birthright, if you have the courage to seize it. So stop chasing control. Start cultivating sovereignty. Stop fighting reality. Start mastering your relationship to it. Stop building castles in the sand. Start becoming the mountain. The world needs fewer performers of strength and more men and women who embody it in silence. This is your invitation, not to another course, not to another hack, but to the only battle that ever mattered, the conquest of self. Win it, and you win everything. Lose it, and all your victories are dust. Now go. Sit. Observe. Choose. The war begins not tomorrow. It begins now.